My apologies.
Oh,
Had
it's
to
a
remind the host.
huge, it's $1 billion industry right now. And that's what all I'm doing is trying to tap in and help our community. All that goes to public safety. Any of the money comes in goes to public safety. I have to pay it every quarter. And the same thing to the state. I got to pay it every quarter. And still, there's enough there that I can survive and even pay for employees and not have to worry about it. And that's all I'm trying to do is to enhance our community and our county. We need stuff like this here. Why do you think there must be 90 of them over in the Portland area, and you go through Salem, you see new ones coming up. Everybody's doing it. Go to our sister towns like the Dalles, go to Madras, ask why they're doing it, what they're getting, and you'll understand why they're doing it because it's such a high revenue of money to them. And it's able, I mean, you can put it back towards your schools. You can, anything to do with public safety, anything. And that's a lot of money. And it's a help to this community. And I did set it up. At first, we tried to rezone it. I wanted just my property rezoned. And Stephanie brought up some great things about it. Would I be able to establish a commercial building like a cement plant or whatever on my place? No, that ain't happening. There's not enough room to do that there. But I do have an existing building that I had that I fixed up, went about it the wrong way, but I'm back on track now. And it's beautiful. It's a gorgeous place, and it would be more than apt to accommodate what we want to do. It's not going to bring as much traffic that a lot of people do. Man, we got more traffic in the summertime with the bikers and everybody else going on Highway 19 going through the thoroughfare there. I mean, that's a scenic route, and they stop off. And I'm paved up past our property up, and it's all paved except for where I put gravel where they'll be parking. And it's not going to affect the road any. And I know there's concerns there, but I've talked to a couple other people, and that's not going to be a problem. And if I had to get a land use lawyer or whatever for traffic master or whatever, I'll do it. I mean, I'm willing to do whatever I got to do to get this through. And it's been a long haul. We've had deaths in our family and other stuff that I've had to put stuff on hold, but we're back on it. And who knows? I may have another one tomorrow. It's the way life is. But that's all I'm doing is trying to push it through. And I know there'll be opposition. There always is. There was in Sumter. I had 99 people sign a petition saying they didn't want it. After they passed it through and it went through anyway, I had 99 of those people come into my store and was buying, and it's just because they don't know. There's such a stigma on marijuana, but there's not on cannabis. And I hate the word marijuana because I'm from old school too, and I had that stigma. But when I started seeing this product actually work on people, puts it in a whole new light. And that's all I'm trying to do. If people would just understand and do more research on the cannabinoids and don't have that stigma of marijuana, they'll realize that it's a good thing. The doctors are telling people to do it now. Go get you some tincture, get some CBD. This is going to help you. Well, we get that there. Then our clinics can tell our people, and the money comes to the county, comes to me too, but it keeps them local. They don't have to drive a 90-mile radius to go someplace to get it. And we have it here. And I'm telling you, it'll do nothing but enhance the county. It'll help the county. Even if it draws other people over here to buy, the county still benefits from it. I mean, it's revenue. Back when I opened up Sumter, it was 8%. I know that they just passed a law about a year and a half ago. It's 3%. But I've been telling everybody 8% because that's what I banked on. I'll carry it for 8% for a year, go to 5 the next year, and go down to 3, what the state requires the next, if I have to, just because I know it'll work. And you figure on 30,000 in a quarter, 3% of 30,000 is a pretty good chunk of money, and that doesn't stop. It just keeps coming. 8% is even better. And
so I don't understand the taxing part of it. So
the state requires me to pay 17% of all sales goes to the state. Okay, I got to pay the state every quarter. The state requires me to pay the county, because it'll be in this county. It's not Condon, it's the county. The state's going to require me to pay 3%.
The state requires you to pay
3%
of the 17
of all sales.
of the 17%.
No,
full revenue.
Oh, that's above the 17.
Oh,
So now is it 20%?
It's at 20%. I'm willing to go 25% for the first year and then go down 5 the next year. And then on the third year, take it back to what the state requires. They just passed that law about 2 years ago. And I just got buddies that own dispensaries over in the Portland area. So I know what the taxes and stuff are. At first, I thought I had to pay the state all of it, but they're telling me, no, they don't want to do that. I send the state theirs, and then I'll come in every quarter. I'd come in every month. I didn't care. And I'll hand off. It's cash. So you got to figure out a way to deal with your cash.
Is it still a cash only business?
Not all of them. No. Out here, I haven't really researched enough as far as my bank and stuff. They do now where I can put in an ATM and money goes to my account when they draw it out, and it's 3%. And there are places that are allowing you to go to the bank, use a card. I'm doing cash only. I don't want to get involved with all the paperwork and everything else. I'll bring you in a bank bag every quarter full of cash. Huh?
Sure, bring it to us. I also wanted to ask you, where was it? Sorry. It was about, so your take on this is that the way that you fit into our condition or our goal is that it was a recreation question. What did I do with that?
The recreational needs of the county goal?
Yes. It's like, how does it meet into that?
Into the recreation?
Yeah.
I don't know. People traveling back and forth and they want to buy it. I mean, as far as recreation, you mean as far as the recreational marijuana?
Well, I don't know. You're the one.
What are you
said
talking about recreation?
You're the one who said it. Hold on. I'll read it to you. As soon as I
Okay.
can find the letter or your letter, it says,
I think that's a letter that my wife wrote.
right.
Talking about we want to stay on the medical side, but we will have some of the recreational.
While you're finding that,
No.
may I interrupt just a second?
Yeah.
Where are you getting most of your product? Are you shipping it in? Is that kind of the business model?
I'll have a runner. I've got
I don't know what a runner is.
a runner is I got to pay somebody, pay for their license, pay them. They can go over and pick up the product.
Where?
I've got suppliers that are in Portland. I got a couple in Springfield, and
Okay. Do you have to have a license to transport?
yes,
Much like, okay, like there's,
I've got to be licensed all the way around before I can even get my OLCC license. This stuff has to be done, and if I don't get this stuff done, It doesn't do me any good to apply because I can't get it.
Is the business that you referenced in Sumner, or Sumter, is it still
No,
business?
I had to sell when my dad fell and broke his hip. And when I moved over here 10 years ago, I sold
I
out.
think the question is that business still operating?
No, they sold out a year ago. Now, the other one that came in behind me, the Nugget, it's still there. The other one, they had to leave. They had medical issues, so they just closed down.
Well, I must have just made the note in my head,
I
but
think staff said it will neither
it doesn't really fit
affect
in.
it one way or
Yeah.
another.
So who do you believe in Gilliam County is your customer base?
Who do I believe in Gilliam County is my customer
Right.
base? Well, I'd be telling on a lot of people if I did that. My customer base right now will be Gilliam County. I know I could tell you probably 150 people right now, and there's more. I'm going to tell you the people come out of the closet, whether you like it or not, they will. And when I get to the medical side of it, where I have people that haven't used it, didn't like it, and they come to me, and I went over and I bought stuff for them. I got tincture and stuff for them, and they liked it. They said, we can't wait for you to get open. We want to help other people. We think it's a great idea. My customer base will also be those traveling through the summer. I have the bikers that are going to be going through. There's over 350 of them will go through here every summer on Highway 19. They stay at Bear Hollow. I got other travelers that are going through. People right now travel either to the Dalles, or they go to Pendleton, or they go to Madras. And they're spending their money over there. Gilliam County is losing out on that money. If it's here, they're not going to go over there. They'll buy here because I'll have most of the same product, the rubs and all that stuff they carry over there. I will be carrying them. I'll carry the gummies. I'll carry all that stuff. And yeah, there will be some flour, but I can also get some, like smoking it, I can get the CBD flour. There's still no THC in it, but they got the flour if they like smoking. You know, they may like rolling their own cigarettes or whatever. And so I can bring the flour in for that. It's a little more expensive, but it is. That's just the way it goes. You know, but they're going to save their money by traveling to me 7 miles out of town or 13 miles out of town than driving over 75, 90 miles to buy it. And spending fuel and stuff going there.
Are there age restrictions to do business?
I've got my system that I set up, Don, yes.
I guess
They cannot
age restrictions to do business with you.
Yeah, they gotta be 21 or older.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
I have to show all my stuff that I have comes through with the state. I have a security system. I have to run that on a CD every day. I've got to scan their license. And before they walk out the door, if there's a problem with them in the state of Oregon, they're calling me on the phone and say, hey, you can't sell to him. You got to get him out of there. The restrictions on the security side of this is astronomical. I'll have cameras all the way around that thing. My security, it'll be linked to the police department. And it'll be, I mean,
I think that we should probably stick with, just related to the text amendment, yeah.
You're going off on a tangent.
Yeah.
It's none of our concern on making our decision.
well, you asked me.
No, I just wanted to know if there was an age restriction, and I've got that, 21 years or older.
Okay, well, it's not any different buying alcohol.
Anybody have any other
I have no
questions?
other questions at this time.
I don't at this time.
There will be an opportunity at the end of public testimony that you could provide a
Okay.
rebuttal. So if
All right.
there's something that comes up that you want to rebut, yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Now we do anybody who wants to speak against that or
In
in
favor.
favor.
For bonus.
Okay. Anybody wish to speak in favor of the application, please come forward and state your name and address.
Good evening. I'm Tom Cutsforth. I live at 363-1618 Gwen Road.
183.
That one. Anyway, I don't mail myself letters very often. My house sits right across the pasture from Rex Place. There's nothing in between except my pasture. So I'd probably have the biggest dog in the fight in the community. And I would like to address Section 9 more than anything else. I don't care what he's selling. The whole marijuana thing, that's for other people to decide whether to use it or not to use it, whatever. As long as he's not selling something that's pornographic, not selling little girls, not selling things that are illegal, I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. Now, somebody said, I was a prosecutor for 20 years. Yes, I was. I was a naval intelligence officer for 23 years. Yes, I was. And during that time, marijuana was a class 1 substance, which means it was rated the same as heroin. And I always thought that was very, very strange, but I never used it. I never know anything about it. But I do know that in 2008, and this is a little aside, I proposed a economic development project 3 miles outside of Fossil. The NIMBYs, that's not my backyard. The NIMBYs threw a fit and got me recalled and claimed that got me recalled as district attorney because of my proposal of that project. And something like that happened here in Gilliam County decades ago up with a youth corrections facility up at the radar station. And what happened, they got me recalled and tossed out of office. So, and they promised they were going to bring economic development that would be just as good. Now, my project was not polluting, didn't produce any more traffic, which are issues you guys are talking about. It produced 14 family wage paying jobs, which in the Fossil community is huge. This, he's saying, and I don't know if it will or not, but he's saying it will produce at least a local income stream and perhaps a helper stream. So that'd be 2 jobs. That's at least an improvement. I mean, but what happened was they canceled my project. They pulled it back. And Fossil lost 2 restaurants, all the bars, and a car dealership. And all you got in Fossil right now is a burger tile and a donut shop. That was the NIMBY's promise to make things better. And it wasn't. It didn't. It was a total failure. So I was thinking about putting a brewery in my basement. And I thought that would be a good match because I'd use local barley, wheat. But that was just a thought. But I am in favor of him. He's cleaned up that lot. Tremendous. That structure was formerly, I think, a garage or something. It was falling down. He's rebuilt it. It could serve very easily as a small cottage. It's very nice, done very well. He's come through and put drainage fields in over there. And this all out of his pocket. He hasn't made a dime. But he's done that out of the goodness of his heart. He's helped the neighbors. He's always been a good neighbor. And so I have no opposition to this at all.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in favor of the application? Anybody wish to speak against the application?
You want the written comments or folks first?
Let's see if somebody wants to speak and then we can do the written comments. Everybody who wants to speak against? Opponent?
My name is Christine Carter and I live at 16726 Michaela Lane in Arlington, Oregon. I oppose the amendments to the county planning ordinances only because I live here and it's safe and I have kids here. And I do think, unfortunately, although it's geared towards the medical side of things, it comes with everything involved and there will be the bad with the good. And I just don't think that our county can support that much traffic through the area and the increased pressure that it puts on the local county sheriff's department. And yes, you know, the thought is that, you know, people will use it for medical grade, but there's always the downside of everything. So I do not support it.
Thanks, Christine. Anyone else want to speak as an opponent on that? Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
And she's not the, unless she was.
General Fat Mode 65685 Barnett Road, Arlington. I am the self-appointed mayor of Miclo. And we're pretty anti. It's gonna be, like Christine said, there's gonna be a lot of traffic on that road and it's one way in and it's one way out. And then the only other way in there is that Blaylock and it's gravel. And as soon as they find out that there's a pot shop there, I don't care if that's what you call it, that's what I call it. They'll be coming up that canyon and you live right beside there. It's not gonna be good. I'm not anti-marijuana, cannabis, I'm not, it's legal in Oregon, but just not in my backyard. And I can only speak to Miclo, so. And the whole map is, I own that whole purple map, so, no, thank you.
Any other opponents? Peggy, come on up.
I'm Peggy Gray. I live at 73654 Highway 74, Ione, Oregon, sorry. I've done some statistics on marijuana use, whether it's cannabis or marijuana. It's still more or less the same products. I wonder how he knows, the person that wants to propose this, how he knows what to give someone medically. I'm more about the safety of it. The safety of our kids that are in our community. There's no way in Oregon that they allow a beer place to be out in the community, out in the wilds, by the sagebrush, to sell beer or alcohol to people. They don't do that. Why should we have something that can be a dangerous drug out there where kids can get someone to buy that stuff for them? I worry about our kids, our young kids. I worry about the fires that may cost in our community. Look how bad we had fires in this county last year. I worry about that being a problem. I worry about other things being sold in our area, because if someone drives up there, what means they don't have in their car some more illicit drugs than what he's selling. When we have people like that coming to our county to buy that, it's not just the older people that are going to drive there. The older people with cancer probably can't drive there. They've got somebody else to go pick it up for them. From us. And then people that are smoking or partaking in cannabis of any sort are going to drive on our roads away from his business, and they're going to be on our county roads. A safety issue. It's a safety issue. And that's my biggest thing. I could care less if somebody uses marijuana or cannabis. It's not my business. It's not my body. I don't want it available to our kids I don't want fires to happen. I don't want higher theft to happen in our community. And it's going to take more security, whether it's sheriffs or whoever, in our community to balance that out. So that's money to us, that it's going to cost us money. So that's my objections.
Thank you. Any other opponents? Okay, Stephanie, do you want to go ahead and?
Okay,
report
so the one that you had, I received as an email at 4:57 PM today. And then I do have additional copies coming. Get this one to them. If anybody.
Oh, yeah, that one. I won't care.
So it was an email that I received this afternoon in opposition, stating that we're opposed to allowing cannabis retail as a use conditionally allowed in the rural unincorporated community zone, opposed proposed amended definitions as provided in the public notice, from Karen Kroner and Bob Gritsky, who are adjoining owners in Olick. And then,
You got it.
And then we've got the one from. Right.
and then the other letter, was brought in and hand delivered tonight, writing to express our opposition to any marijuana distributing dispensaries, centers being allowed in the rural unincorporated areas of Gilliam County. This person indicates they live close to Michaelo and object to the presence of such businesses close to their home. They have children, and many of our neighbors have young children and grandchildren. A marijuana dispensary would cause concerns regarding neighborhood safety and increased traffic in our rural community. And that one came from Ryan and Jolie Munkers. So those are the only things that I've received. And because they were received so late, I would recommend adding those to the record. They were not included with the packet that went out.
Okay, so what do we have? Well, we just include that.
Do they need a motion?
Do we have to have a motion to put these into?
Yes.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, and second?
Second.
Okay, there's motion, on the floor to put the letters received from Karen Kroner, Bob Kritsky, and Julie and Ryan Munkers into the official record. All in favor? I'm passed. So anybody have any neutral testimony? Go ahead and come forward. Neutral is the key here.
My name's Tony Carpenter. I am one of the applicants for this project to be pushed through. And I want to mention that the people in Olick and Michaelo, it's respectful that they express their opinions. They're 30 miles away from us. We have no schools next to us whatsoever. We're out in the middle of nowhere. Traffic is not going to be that bad. We've thought about it and we've, summertime coming by and things like that. It has not been a
Okay,
major.
Tony, just a second. We're actually looking for neutral testimony right at the moment, so
Oh,
you're not, I don't think that you would be considered neutral.
I apologize.
So, so let's just go.
Hang on,
It's okay,
Marcus.
it's all right. We just want to make sure that there's nobody, is there somebody who would like to speak on neutral testimony? Okay, Mac would like to speak, so,
And then come back.
and then we'll bring you back up.
Okay.
Should have been a proponent.
I'll do a rebuttal.
There wasn't a neutral option on the sheet, sign-up sheet, so.
That's okay.
Mark, my name is Max Stinchfield. I live at 515 South Main in Condon, but I have property just across Highway 19 from this project. And I just want to say that I absolutely have no issues with the project,
One way or the other.
one way or the other.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so, because Tony's named on the application, she can provide the rebuttal, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Tony, you want to come back up if you wouldn't mind? Thank you.
So we are to rebuttals now.
We are at rebuttals. We are at
No, no.
rebuttal.
I apologize, I'm speaking out of turn. Anyway, as I was saying, we are not anywhere near school. I think, what, 9 miles away. Mike Lowe and Oleg, 30 miles away, you know. I don't know how their kids or anybody else is gonna be able to get close to that. I understand leaving our facility and somebody driving off, but it's the same as leaving a bar. You know, we're gonna be state regulated. Everything's gotta be per their regulations. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. And we have improved the area and made it very nice so that there's not going to be a conflict of somebody pulling in. We've got handicap parking available, the whole shebang. And as far as the schools, my kids are all grown up. I have grandkids. You know, there are people that I understand don't want it around their kids. One way or another, it's going to be around their kids. This world has been turned upside down. Anything is going to be available. It's up to the parents to make sure that their hands are not on that stuff. So that's what I need to say. I hope that we'll be able to push this through. No harm intended. We want to do what's good for the community. We've had the elderly people with cancer. We don't make medical decisions. And, you know, it's just a rub. It's like a rub. And any tinctures, that's your choice. If they've tried it before and said it works, you know, we would make sure that we carried it. So we do want to help out with the public and the elderly.
Okay,
I do have a few more questions, and Tony, I don't know if you'll be able to respond to this, and maybe it needs to be a written question, I'm not sure. But the concern was traffic and safety, and as a mama myself, I can relate very heavily.
Yes.
So my question is three-part. You said you ran a business in Sumter, correct? Could you share with me, and again, three parts. One, can you share with me what your weekly interaction with the sheriff's office was, if there was any? Two, was there an increased crime rate or theft rate in the county during that time? And if I could talk to the sheriff right now, what would he tell me
Over in
in your previous
Sumter?
business?
Well, first of all, the sheriff would tell you he was for it.
Okay,
And you can call them. They're Baker County because Sumter was in the county,
right.
but
Sure.
county battered out. And so they did. And then how did it affect the street? Way less than what the flea market does. Flea market brings in 10,000 people every stinking year. I would have maybe through the day, maybe 25, 30 people come in a day.
Is
And
that
that-
kind of what you're anticipating in this space?
I'm probably for the first month or two, might be a little bit more because people are new and gonna get it. But I'm gonna see it trickle down to where I might have maybe 15, 20 in a day, if that.
Because like I said, we're out in the middle of nowhere. So
What was the population around Sumter?
99 people.
Within 20 miles.
Yeah, Baker City.
Oh, yeah, Baker City's you had cut.
Baker's 26 miles.
20
Okay.
20 miles-ish?
It's 26 miles from Sumter. And then I had people come because I was the first one that went in. I had people come from Idaho. And once they buy and they get in their car and they take off, I am not liable for those people. But I will tell you that if they get caught, that's on them.
there will be not any consumption on the premises whatsoever.
Can't have it. I've got a tag. Even on my tincture site,
Non-use, no
As
consumption.
long as it does
no
not.
consumption on the job site.
What's,
If the tincture has no THC in it, it is consumable.
I know, but will it be consumed on on premise?
No,
No,
Okay,
nothing,
all right.
nothing on
That answers that.
premises.
I gotta have that tag on there for it to even go out my door.
It can't be broken.
I'm happy with the no.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Well, what was it? What was the other?
So you said the sheriff would be kind of for it.
Oh, yeah.
Was there an increased theft rate in the region?
None whatsoever. And that's what the people in Sumter thought was gonna happen. There was absolutely none. In fact, they never had any riffraff, didn't have any of that, and they still don't. That's why the Nugget is still going. It's very popular.
So the sheriff you didn't need to necessarily call the sheriff on a weekly basis or
Nope,
any of that
never,
interaction?
not one time, no theft, not once. Of course, I live next door, but I mean, I wasn't gonna allow it to happen because of my cameras and stuff that I had, the security.
Necessarily looking at your facility, but I'm also looking regionally, right? Like if the business was coming by our farm and someone who had not been previously in this space, saw a barn and thought maybe they were just gonna get out and make a phone call perhaps, and case perhaps. That's what I was asking, your surrounding areas necessarily, or your neighbors.
Never did, never had a problem,
Thank you.
not one. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will, the public testimony portion of the hearing is now closed. Does staff need to respond to a question or issue raised by the testimony? Does the planning commission have any questions of staff? I do have a question. The unincorporated areas, of course, are Michael, Olix, and Mayville.
Correct.
So by changing the verbiage in section 8, that affects Michael, Olix, and Mayville. There's no way to not have that affected. Is that correct?
Well,
Unless we made a different decision.
yes, if you made a different decision, the applicant provided the letter, and somewhere, I was trying to look back at the letter, somewhere in there, they said Mayville. However, so
Yeah, it said it excluded Michael, Olix.
yes, that's exactly what they said, to exclude Michaelo and Olix. However, to change the code would apply to all three. So we are required to provide notice to everybody that is within that zone and to let them know of the proposed change. Not to say that you couldn't do it, but I would recommend if that's something you want to consider, I could bring you back information. I can't remember the case. I think it's out of Wheeler County for something where they specifically identified something that was specific to a property for a text change. And if that's something you wanted to consider where it only affected Mayville, then I'd recommend continuing the hearing and bring back a little bit more information on that. The way that I presented it here would affect the entire rural unincorporated community zone.
And am I to assume that Michaelo, Olix, and Mayville are all commercial? Or do they have to get the zoning changed to commercial before that could happen?
So the rural unincorporated community zone it's kind of unique in that it's identified to provide commercial benefit to recreation in Gilliam County. There are a few commercial uses that would be allowed there. Residential is also an allowed use. It is kind of a use that's unique separate from commercial and separate from residential. There are a couple of minor industrial uses that are allowed. It generally complements other uses identified as something that exists kind of outside of the incorporated areas, far enough away that they can provide some sort of service to
Basically,
those areas.
The people who own land in these unincorporated.
Can speak to-
Do more with it.
Yeah, I can't really speak to what value there would be monetarily, just, land use.
Buy a chunk of land, well, you do have more options than strictly farmland or residential.
Yes, so in that
It's
zone,
within the unincorporated area.
Unincorporated.
Right.
So basically, I'm just curious.
And currently, the way that the code is written, it does allow marijuana processing. It just does not allow retail. And then the part that they've requested to be changed on the table where it doesn't allow wholesaling, that's not allowed anywhere in the county. So that change would affect basically anywhere where the marijuana use is allowed.
Is it possible to remove your land from an unincorporated area if you wanted to?
Somebody could request a zone change. I'm not sure. We'd have to evaluate whether or not there would be a compatible zone. It is frowned upon to do spot zoning, which was the initial conversation when the applicant came in and talked to us and wanted to change the zoning of his property. The only use currently within the Gilliam County zoning and land development ordinance where marijuana retail is allowed, I believe, is industrial. And so the conversation that we had at that time was if he were to rezone his specific piece of property to that industrial zoning, he would have to prove that his property could support all uses within that industrial zone, which it was part of his comment when he talked about placing a concrete plant or something like that, because that is a use that would be allowed within that zone. So he would have to prove that his property could support that, which is a much bigger task than, then one might think, because traffic implications and all sorts of things like that. So you look at it from the highest and best use and you say, you could rezone it, but rezoning it could mean that the person could come in and they could put, the widget factory, or they could come in and they could put a shed. And you have to evaluate everything in between that's allowed in that zone. So, and it would be the same for any other zone. If somebody came in and they wanted to rezone it to residential, they'd have to prove that their piece of property could support all the things that would be allowed within that zone.
I had a question too about changing the name from marijuana to cannabinoid or whatever. Does that do anything other than just change the name? I mean, if it says marijuana on it, can he not sell cannabinoids?
So I did some research, and I am by no means any sort of expert on cannabis or marijuana, but in the research that I did, at least for Oregon, I did bring myself a couple of notes here. So Oregon defines in ORS 475B.010 to 475B 0.35, cannabinoid means any of the chemical compounds that are active constituents of marijuana. And then federally, cannabinoids are a group of chemical compounds found within the cannabis plant, Cannabis sativa L, and the human body. So they are different from the perspective of their active constituents.
But it's a derivative of marijuana.
Correct, but they're still a derivative of the same plant. So that was kind of my comment earlier about changing all of our references to marijuana. I would be concerned with being inconsistent with other references throughout state and federal law.
So all these other Green Cross stores I drive by, they're technically marijuana stores.
Yes.
As far as the state's concerned.
Yes, marijuana businesses.
Yeah, marijuana businesses. Whether they're selling THC or non-THC products.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to ask Rick if are you intending on growing marijuana?
Absolutely not. I don't want to put a 10-foot wire around.
Believe that.
I've been involved with grows.
But we talked about it's in here wholesale. That's what, right.
Already
That's what,
done for that.
yeah. That's what my question,
No,
but
I'm not gonna grow.
you have no intention of
No
doing
influence.
that as of today. Anyway, yeah, because it's in here that he could be a grower.
So I don't know if you'd like to take the opportunity to kind of go through the proposed amendments in the text and look at what I've provided at the end is the applicant proposed changes. And I just filtered it directly in until I got to the point where we started talking about changing everything from marijuana to cannabis. So I don't know if you wanted to take a couple minutes and go through those.
I would.
Okay. So if you go after their letter in the middle of the packet, and I know this isn't helpful for you because you don't have one in front of you. But what I can do is I'll actually,
And even though I was invited to the meeting.
I'll move over here closer to you so that way you can look at it.
You can read it, it's awful small.
Okay. So, actually, give me a second. Let me see if I can screen share it. Because I should be able to get onto the website and look at it. That way our person joining remotely can see it.
Yeah, that'd be good. Oh.
Is Anya still in her office?
I believe so. We did have an
Can she
issue.
screen share it?
I had to remove host.
Oh, well,
'Cause-
she can still screen share. You just have to give her the option.
I'll just navigate to it really quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, because we ran into another issue a little bit ago when I had it, so. So when we get to let me see here where I'm at. Sharing my screen.
Something about nearest city common.
Oh,
All right.
The city common as long as you're 1,000 or 10,000 feet.
So I believe
Oh, of course, yeah.
we should be able to see that now.
Grab the wrong screen.
I grabbed the wrong screen.
I don't know how long. But
Arlington's a no, I think.
I think they did.
But I don't think there's any place within the city of Arlington that is far enough away from the Cool.
Big report on West End of London.
Let me try that one again.
West End on the highway, you mark the speed. When you first hear this.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But like I say, it hadn't been an issue.
Yeah, because somebody did ask about it at one point, wanted to put it in right across from the rodeo grounds. And that was not far enough away.
So sorry if I make everybody online seasick for just a second. All right, so the first thing that was requested in the definitions was the change to how cannabinoid is currently defined. And cannabinoid is currently defined as refers to any of the chemical compounds that are active constituents of marijuana. And the applicant requested a group of chemical compounds found primarily in the cannabis sativa plant known as marijuana or hemp. Significant attention has gained through the years due to their therapeutic properties.
Sorry.
And I included that second sentence on there because that was what was requested for the change, but I don't know that that would be necessary for the definition. And then I believe that was it for the actual definitions portion of it until we get into the definitions within the marijuana businesses definitions. Just going to scroll down so that we can just double check. Everything that I changed, I did redline. Oh, they did. Marijuana business did not include federal and local law. They requested that added. And then medical marijuana, they requested change to processing, wholesale dispensing, and retailing.
Did you enlarge that a little bit?
Yes, I think I can.
Much better, thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to zoom down or scroll down one more time there. There we go. Is that better?
Yes.
I don't know if everybody in the audience can see it. See if I can zoom in one more time without giving us too much seasickness. There we go.
Okay, so this language change was requested by the applicant. Is that what you said?
Correct, yes.
And this would pertain only to their business, or we're talking about changing the language for the whole?
This is in the definitions of the code.
code.
Yeah, the entire code.
Right.
Let me know when you're ready to.
So it's just saying that more regulated under the federal state market-based law. Yeah.
And adding processing.
All processing, I guess. And wholesale.
And yeah. Retailing.
Potential to process in future.
Hmm?
Sounds like a potential to process in future.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
All right. We ready to move down?
yeah.
Okay. Keep it zoomed in, see if we can still see it. I don't want to lose my comments on the side, so grab this back.
I printed it, but I couldn't read it after.
I
Well, it's because I printed two.
okay. Um, and I think that covers it for the definitions this time. Yeah, that's it for definitions. So then the next part that we're going to go to would be related directly to the rural unincorporated community zone and the proposed changes to the zone itself. So the request is to change under subsection C6, which is currently conditional uses permitted. The request is to change it from marijuana production and processing to cannabis production, processing, and retail. And then, of course, changing marijuana to cannabis business. And staff noted that the applicant would like to add retail, however, requests that it exclude Michael and Olix. A separate subsection of the allowance of retail Mayville would be more aligned with his request if that was the path that we decided to choose. And that summarizes the only change in that zone specifically. So that is as far as within the zone, that was the request.
And then the table.
And then you go on to what is currently allowed as far as marijuana businesses under section 8.270. The request is to change all terminology relating to marijuana to cannabis. And I did make a comment there. What does OLCC and OHA use? Marijuana business or cannabis business? Everything that I found said marijuana business. I didn't find the reference to cannabis business anywhere. And then I did go through and I made the change to cannabis as requested from marijuana to all of them. But again, I did indicate later on where it talks about marijuana processing. That one I didn't change because it conflicts with the terminology at OLCC and Oregon Health Authority. So I think the important part about that one specifically, so when you start talking about marijuana, marijuana is the actual crop itself. And so you're processing from a crop. And when you start talking about cannabis, that's the chemical compound. So I think changing the terminology from marijuana to cannabis, there could be conflicts in the future that could potentially
Basically,
limit
it's
it.
synonymous. Marijuana is cannabis in scientific name.
Right.
So they're exactly the same thing. It's marketing.
Yeah, they are. However, marijuana, when we start talking about marijuana crops, so
Right, you
any of
don't grow
this.
cannabis, you grow marijuana.
Right.
You're actually growing cannabis sativa, which is the legal.
Yeah, the legal name, yes,
Marijuana
yes.
is basically,
Yes, so.
it's one of the same.
So that one specifically did conflict with the terminology that is used when we start talking about processing, particularly in land use. And then it gets to the table where this is the table of marijuana businesses throughout the whole county, and where it is allowed, prohibited, or allowed conditionally. And the request here, as you'll see in red, is that they're requesting it be changed from prohibited to a C, which is a conditional use. Right. And then they request wholesaling specific to products grown off site be permitted. And that's the effect of all the changes that were requested.
Okay, more discussion? I guess right at the moment, I am a proponent of separating the unincorporated areas out. Well, it'd be Miclo and Olex would be one, and then, and having Mayville become its own area.
Could we do that for all three counties or all three unincorporated?
That's why I asked if
If we're gonna,
the landowner who owns all of one deal wants to be out of the unincorporated area, they could pitch themselves out and it would never happen.
Right.
I don't know how many landowners are in Olex.
Quite a few, probably. Well, it depends on how big it is, maybe 2.
So it just seems to me that would still be left to the landowner. Says, we don't ever want this, we can take our land out of the unincorporated.
Yeah. Is there,
Unless there's a definite advantage to leave, and I never did see that there's a big advantage to leaving your land in the unincorporated area.
So Carla McLean, I'm the city of Boardman planning official and oversee the contract with Gilliam County. So for the record, the state, the rules around unincorporated communities are long-lived in the state of Oregon. And they were designed to be an opportunity for, in some cases, historic communities. We call these 3 locations by a name because at some point in time, there was a community. And it still is a community. It just may not be as robust as it was in, 1892 or in 1929. But there's still families who live there and there's still a community. The objective of the unincorporated communities kind of rulemaking that happened and how it got promulgated in counties was a recognition of a couple of things. One, that historic community. And you can, in Morrow County, there's a couple as well. Now, Morrow County never adopted the unincorporated community rule. So in Morrow County, it's applied a little bit differently. Gilliam County is a little more formal in that. But the intent was to acknowledge that historic community and to allow any of those businesses that may have been there to remain and be allowable under the zoning kind of framework, or for those communities to bring a business to that community. So I think Olex is a prime example, and Mayville as well, because they're both right on the highway. That community has the opportunity, based on that designation of it being an unincorporated community, to say, we want to have a business here, and that zoning would allow that to happen. The question is what kind of businesses do you want to allow in that? And I think that's the question in front of you tonight, is what kind of businesses do you want to allow? Could you delineate Olex and Miclo separately from Mayville? Maybe. I think there's a legal sufficiency test or question that we should ask if you're going to separate them in your code? Do you need to fully separate them? And is just a difference in use enough to support that?
Well, one of them has multiple landowners and one of them only has one landowner.
It's for now.
Or, well, it'd have to be broken up. I think, I don't know how the lot in Michaelo is, but I don't think you'd have to subdivide it. It would be quite a job.
I'm just saying, what, if we make a decision now, what's it gonna look like in
Well,
4 years?
the
Yeah, but I guess you can change against it.
the landowner could take it out if they wanted to, or they could do it in. That leaves the power to the people on the property. I like, if they don't want out, if they want out, they can say we don't want to be unincorporated. I understand that right.
They would have to make, I mean, they would have to
They'd
go
have to
through
make
a pretty,
changes.
you would be putting a burden on them that they don't have today. And it would then, you would pass that burden to them to say, well, we don't want this, so they would have to apply for the zone change to remove themselves.
And I think if that was the avenue we'd want to go, and my apologies, I should have wrote down what exactly that case law was, but the premise of it was essentially that if you're applying something to one individual, then really it's not a matter of whether or not the text should be changed. It's a matter of whether or not they can meet those standards, because applying, as a whole, then the difference between a quasi judicial decision and a legislative decision was essentially it. So, if we're applying it to one area versus the entire area that's being zoned, then are we accurately applying our process, or is it something that?
Right, we have to remember that we're not speaking for Mayville, we're speaking for Michael Olex and Mayville.
So if we can separate it, from Mayville came Clinton about it.
Right, yeah.
And I think, again, if we did that, we'd want to go back and look at case law, and we may have to do a separate notice to the folks of Mayville, because it would affect them specifically, and with the understanding that they would be different than the other rural unincorporated community areas.
And I think I feel a little differently. I think that we can make a decision without going through that zoning change.
We're making this a recommendation anyway.
Right, we're making a recommendation.
Yeah.
So we could recommend to rezone the 3 unincorporated potentially,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then make a recommendation to approve or deny the applicant to the county court. Right, is that top?
we could recommend, we recommend both those things.
Or,
Or one, the other.
Well, we could recommend both
well, and then we still have
based
the
on one.
marketing, whether it's cannabis or marijuana, which
Oh.
is basically a marketing move.
Right.
So do we handle that all as one?
I think the request before you tonight is you would make a recommendation. You can take pieces of it and amend it as you see fit.
Yeah, I don't see the need to change it from marijuana myself, but
Maybe.
it is just.
I mean, I understand why they want to change it, but it should match up with all, if it goes through this county, it should match up with all other stores, and
Does anybody have any more questions for Stephanie or Carla at this point,
not at this point.
for the applicant?
Not at this point.
We want to make a motion?
I will move, we allow the zoning change without changing the words from marijuana to cannabis. Go for it.
Okay, so wait,
We allow to send it to the county court to, weird. I'm not sure how to,
okay, so, so are you just talking about that you just wanted, that you want to separate out and do you're making a recommendation now to not change marijuana to cannabis and that's it? That's the only piece you're looking at? Or are you?
That's what I don't quite understand.
So we have three parts. We can vote on that part. That's number one,
The marijuana,
the
Yeah.
MJ to cannabis.
right?
The second part is whether or not we allow the potential for Mayville to become unincorporated from the other two.
Right, separating,
Separating space and
Right.
all the potential that that might bring up. And
Mayville,
three, approve and or deny the application.
right,
A recommendation to the. A
recommendation
recommendation to the court.
of saying, but
So
it could be,
So basically, everything goes, I will make a motion that we approve the application. That we send to the court approval of the recommendation to change the zoning.
The language except marijuana, so everything, you're okay with all the other language, allowing it in the rural unincorporated zone, but not changing marijuana references?
But to allow it in the zone, if that doesn't pass, all the rest of them are moot point.
okay, so.
That's my philosophy.
I would
here.
say that, I would say, I guess we're not making a motion here, but it's,
we're moving to recommend that the planning commission recommends to county court.
if we can separate Michael Oleg's and Mayville into, remove Michael and Oleg's from the unincorporated area,
Is that what you're saying?
Is that what you're?
Well,
then I would say that yes to the, I would recommend approval if Mayville could be moved out. If it can't be moved out, I would say.
So on your script, there are three suggested motions towards the end on the second
Yeah.
page.
Yeah.
Um,
One is approve amendment AZ as amended, and then we talked about the proposed changes. So approval to amendment as amended or denial of amendment for the following reasons.
so I think, we're obviously your recommendation is not to recommend as proposed, but you'd like to make some changes.
Right, as amended.
You might be best served by just taking these a piece at a time.
Right.
that's what I'm trying to do. is just-
So,
Yeah.
so maybe just focus on the definition changes, because I think there might be some, I think that one might be the easiest motion to get through, and then you can move through the others. So if the motion is to just deal with the definitions around marijuana and cannabis.
I move we remain with the existing definitions of marijuana, or the word marijuana in the existing definition.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to leave the existing marijuana verbiage as is in the codes, not change it. Basically. All in favor? Aye, okay.
I did my part.
I think you've got two more pieces, and I think it's about, is it all?
Right.
Is it all three communities, or do you want to move towards separating the communities? And then a third, now, an alternative to that is if you just don't want it to move forward, there's that motion. If you want it to move forward, then do you want it to move forward, and do you want to have a conversation about separating the communities? So it's maybe like a series of dominoes. So maybe the first thought is your overall, is your inclination to say, we want to recommend denial? That might be a motion. Is your inclination, well, we think we want to recommend approval, but we want to modify that approval? Or is your inclination, we want to move a recommendation forward that the court consider this, but we want them to consider it as Mayville only and exclude Oleg's? Am I getting the right?
Include Oleg's and
Michael, yeah. So maybe that's how the dominoes might, again, I'm trying to listen to what I think I'm hearing you all say. You're in a tough
We're all on
spot.
the same page. Words.
Right.
I'm not impressed with it.
I don't know if we're all on the same page.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's the discussion part.
That's why we need a very narrow motion, so we can say what it is.
Right, and we're making a recommendation, but from my point of view, I am in the denial mode if it includes all three unincorporated areas. So I say no to that.
Okay, I'm waiting for the motion. That's not we can.
Okay, I move that the planning commission recommend to the county court a denial of the proposed amendment to the county ordinance permitted as cannabis retail in all three zones.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to make a recommendation to the county court to deny the amendment AZ 001-26 as presented, affecting all three unincorporated areas. Do I hear a second?
Doesn't appear to.
So that motion would die for lack of a second.
Right, so that motion would die for. Okay. So the whole thing could die. We could die right here. You could say that and happy.
Do your rules, and again, my apologies for not knowing what they are, but do your rules preclude you as the chair from seconding the motion?
I'm not sure if there
I don't
are
think so.
rules
No,
there.
she-
So for
Well,
purposes,
I don't know about the second part. I know that she can cast a vote.
I can
She
vote.
can absolutely cast a vote. I don't know what the
I'm not sure either.
appropriate rules
Because
of
we-
order are. Normally in a parlor pro situation, the chair cannot second.
right. You also have a limited quorum here.
Correct.
You have a quorum,
Barely.
barely,
Right.
right?
So who else should be here?
Matt. Kimber.
Okay,
Gib resigned. He resigned. So yeah, I guess I was under this, I've been under the understanding that I could not second, that I could vote.
And I don't disagree, your comment about parliamentary procedure would normally include that, but if you have your own operating kind of procedures, you can follow those as
yeah,
well.
And
So-
she
I,
wasn't really elected or put on as chairman. That was an interior deal, so that kind of changes things. I know mayors, and if you're elected to head, then
Oh.
but I don't know how it works. But the other thing may want to question if we
Stephanie's looking.
wanted to lift you more representation
we don't,
before we made a vote.
we can postpone to a definite time.
Right, we can.
We certainly can, yeah.
Yes. you
So
could
I
be-
just looked back at, the only thing that we could find by way of bylaws, and there's nothing that says that it specifically precludes you. It doesn't say you can or can't, so. But by way of bylaws, that's the only thing that we had found when we were researching, so.
And I'm not seconding because I feel this is a county court decision. It should be forwarded to them to make their decision.
Well, but we're just making a recommendation. We're
Recommendation, yeah.
not making.
That's true. but-
We're just,
And of course, I'm not going to vote to deny it, so.
right, yeah, so I think that's,
And I don't believe in the strategy to get a second just to put it behind us.
right.
So I understand everything here. Yeah, so there, I guess our option would be try to get another member of quorum.
You can try another motion. I mean, just because a motion failed doesn't mean the next motion might not move forward.
Okay.
Or I mean, it's whatever you guys want. If you do want to continue, we certainly can, so.
That would be-
Well, we'll try again. I will move that we approve the change that we sent to the county court, that we approve the change
For the zone,
for the zoning,
but not necessarily the application.
not necessarily the application. We approve the change of zoning. Well, I guess I would end the application. Let's just do a vote.
Okay, didn't we hear that once already though?
Heard the opposite.
The opposite.
We just
I
made the
have-
opposite first.
Approve. But, yeah, so, okay, so there's a motion on the floor to recommend to the Gilliam County Court approval of amendment AZ 001-26 as presented.
as presented. Yes.
Do I hear a second? Hearing none, it dies.
What if we just considered the zone?
Right, that's what I would, I don't know, I don't think I could make a motion. But it would be to make a recommendation to the county court to remove Mayville from the unincorporated zone. And then I think we'd have to address it again.
Well, if it dies here, is the county court still gonna have to address it?
Yes.
There'll still be another opportunity for testimony.
Right.
So it's a
No.
little, I can't say it's wholly unprecedented. Morrow County recently ran into an issue like this where their planning commission did not provide a recommendation. I would not like to see us in that same boat. I think that the county
need a
court would like to have a recommendation. And I think that's kind of outlined in the duties that you provide the recommendation. So, I mean, it's not unprecedented, but it's not
Okay, so
favorable.
Not recommended.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I think we're at a little bit of a crossroads.
And hopefully have another
Voting members.
voting members, at least one, and maybe we can get it.
So we continue, so that
Continuate, I vote we have a continuation.
we would continue this.
So you need to
This
continue
hearing.
it to,
I move to postpone this meeting to this date.
right, so it needs to be, your motion needs to be time, date, and place specific. So, your next meeting would be May 20. What's it?
Or, but I bet planning would need to meet ahead of time if we were to make a
Right.
recommendation.
Well, no, your next meeting would be May 26th.
The next regularly scheduled meeting is May 26th.
That's after county court.
But we would
It would
postpone
come
the
off.
council.
Yeah, come off the,
It would
Go
come
off,
off
I'll
the,
go into
Which
vision.
is what, two
Yeah.
county court meetings a month, so.
right,
So it'd go the 1st of June,
right.
our recommendation.
And you could do it anywhere. You could do it here. You could do it in Arlington. What we do have another action that will be in front of you at that, if it's the regularly scheduled meeting. And you'd have the opportunity, you could reopen the hearing, you could do whatever you choose to do at that point. So
so at this point, you have closed the hearing.
Right,
For testimony. Testimony will be allowed again at the county court just because it's a de novo hearing. So you can either continue this for deliberation only. I'm just gonna give you your options, just so you, when you make your motion, you can be really clear about what you're doing. You can continue this for deliberation only. You could also continue it to reopen the public testimony for any additional testimony that may emerge between now and then.
Could we make that decision hypothetically after county court on the 20th? Or
So there
we
would-
have to make that decision now?
There won't be,
It won't
there
go
won't be
in
an
front of the
action
county
in the
court.
county court.
Oh, I'm saying, could we, if we wanted more testimony or not want more testimony, could we make that after county court since that's the next time that's official? Oh, wait,
no,
we have to meet first. I'm
Right.
sorry, I'm ahead of myself.
Yeah.
I'm stuck on the 20th when it
So,
doesn't make any difference.
But if we have another meeting, does it have to be open to public comment and go through the whole routine again?
that's up to you.
That's
If it's a
the,
continuation, we don't have to do that. We just have to get.
that's the point that you
Right.
need to be clear about in your motion. Are
Right.
you continuing the hearing simply for your ability to deliberate? Or do you want to continue the public hearing for the opportunity of deliberation, but prior to that, additional public testimony?
I think I would be okay with just deliberation. Just to visit and a little more.
Like,
and could we get more information, prior to the next meeting about, what it means to separate the
The unincorporated.
unincorporated
Yeah.
areas?
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable request to staff to help you further define. I'm hearing some options coming out of this discussion, as difficult as I know you're struggling with this. But I'm hearing some options, and one of those is there a way we can treat Mayville separately than Olix and Michaelo? I think that's a reasonable request to ask staff to bring it back
And
some
what
answers.
that would entail, how difficult would that be
For-
for adjacent landowners, the space? And has that been happening in other counties potentially?
Good question.
Yeah.
And what has been their
Mhm.
response?
I suppose the only other question would be, are you comfortable? I mean, we're fine with you going to May 26th. Would you want to try to schedule something between now and May 26th? If you wanted to do that, we would be doing it now.
I mean, they've waited this long, what's another? May 20th, yeah, I don't have a problem with going with 26th, I'm sure I'm gonna be here.
I will be here.
I should be here. So I move we continue this meeting on May 26th with the
For
request-
deliberation
For
only.
deliberation only with the request for information from
And the time would be
May 26th,
time,
5:30.
place.
Gilliam County Courthouse.
Fine.
It's easier for you.
I know, that's the way,
It's only an hour from us.
that's why I didn't give you time, Jen.
Okay,
You give me time.
well,
We haven't seconded it
yeah,
yet.
we have a motion on the floor to continue this discussion on the May 26th Planning Commission meeting, 5:30 PM, Gilliam County Courthouse. Deliberation only,
Second?
and do you have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you all for your testimony tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Hey, back to the agenda.
Okay, so if we are gonna do deliberation only, can we have discussion with outside people? It's not
No.
So we can't visit with anybody else. We need to stay within our confines.
And
Can we
no
discuss each
ex parte.
other?
Right, you can
no
only discuss with each other.
In
Here.
this forum.
Right.
Yes, it is.
and then no
We'll have
ex parte
them talk.
outside of anybody.
No, that's
We can't talk about anybody, can't talk about it with anybody outside.
That's the hard part.
That's the hard part.
Well, because you're
Well,
trying to get good information
Right.
to make
Yeah.
Well,
decisions.
I'm gonna back up a little bit on that.
Yeah.
This is not a quasi judicial
That's
decision.
what I was wondering.
This
Yeah.
is a legislative decision. So should the three of you talk to each other? No.
Right.
Should you
but
talk
we
to your
can talk to other
But if,
people.
if Sam stops you on the street and
We can't
says,
have ex parte with other people. We just can't have
yes,
private meetings.
yes, but this is a legislative
Okay, good.
decision. That threshold is
Yeah.
different than if it was a quasi judicial decision.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I knew somebody, I could say, okay, tell me how this worked in your county.
Right, yes.
That would be okay.
Yes,
You can research all you want. You can
Perfect.
talk to your neighbors. What do you think of this? I
Yeah.
can't talk to you and me.
And I would not talk to the applicant either.
Yeah.
right?
No,
Right.
no, we won't.
And I'm
Yeah.
not
So,
sure I really want to visit and get into it with neighbors either,
That's true.
honestly. I'm more concerned of how this rezoning works in
Works.
other places
Right.
and how really difficult it is. Cause I don't want to create this undue burden and work and.
Yeah, I understand your point.
We were at different spaces, which is fine, that's part of the process.
Right,
What I
And
would
so I'm
say-
anxious to see what Matt and,
a new person.
yeah,
Be nice to get somebody appointed. Maybe they'll- they
Well,
think of it.
Stephanie said she thought we had somebody.
they're planning on, appointing in May.
May 20th, so we might have a.
I believe it's the first meeting in May, but don't quote me on that. So,
one is for ours.
yes, either one would be before you. So,
Even better.
What I would say is as you do your own kind of research or inquiry, when you find that thing or things that just kind of illuminate the issue for you and it kind of bring that back and share it. That's an important component. So, again, if Sam stops you on the street corner and makes his case and it's compelling, I would encourage you to do two things. Bring that back to your deliberations, but then also encourage that person to testify at the county court hearing as well.
Right, which will be after we make a recommendation.
Yes. Yes.
And the public will have another opportunity at the county court hearing. So if any of these folks or anybody else across the county goes, they could participate in that. And anything that I would receive between now and then would get presented to the county court.
That would be good too.
And I imagine there might be.
Yeah.
And I hope so.
Well, that's.
Yeah.
That's the process.
Well, I think the record will be enhanced after tonight because you've got additional letters that was 2 pages at this point, but the additional research that staff does will further inform your next packet. So you'll get another
Paper editor
packet.
was
prior.
there, so there could be an article on this meeting.
Right, and
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
just see if
it
it's right
definitely
or
is.
Yeah.
Are we on, is the meeting closed?
Nope.
Nope, we're
Meeting-
still in the meeting.
Let's see, well,
Do we
other,
need to approve or, do we have minutes that we need to?
So I'll bring minutes to you next meeting
Okay,
and there will be minutes for tonight as well.
oh, did you
This
turn off the,
was a long one.
oh, we're meeting's still in.
Yeah, meeting's still in.
Okay.
Yes.
okay, so, public comment, other business, old business, new business?
I don't really have much. I was hoping to provide you guys an update about the only thing that I can update at this point is that interviews have happened for the planning director position. There was kind of a couple hiccups in the process, not due to anything with any of the applicants or anything like that, but we're hoping maybe by the end of the week, we might know a little bit more. So next meeting, I'll hopefully have some sort of, you guys will probably hear it before then, but I'll have some sort of announcement.
So we can, planning director by our next meeting.
No, I would say, because our contract is until June 30th, so
Okay.
I would say it'd be reasonable to see that new person. You may see the person before then, but I think it'd be more reasonable to expect a new planning director in July.
Good.
Yeah.
We're
Well, not
hoping for
good, but-
we're hoping for some overlap between
Yeah, that
the
would be nice.
contract and.
But
and
there was an offer extended,
Yes.
just no acceptance yet.
Acceptance, yeah, okay.
Okay, right on.
And that's what I.
Any other old business, new business?
The interviews were great.
Good.
Right on.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. Good folks.
And our public has left, so they're.
We're like way stacked.
Except there is somebody online, so I suppose if
Any
they would.
public comment? Anybody else still on?
Ross Carter.
Oh, well, Christine was here, his wife was here,
Oh,
so he might be on. He lives at Michael Lowe.
Are you there?
Oh, we are.
Are you?
Yeah, I was gonna testify or whatever on the thing, but there's no hand raise or anything on the Zoom thing, so I didn't have the
Oh.
opportunity
Oh.
to.
Good job.
apologies, we have some technical difficulties trying to function off of Gilliam County equipment and ours, so hopefully we'll have that resolved next time, but there will be another opportunity at the county court if you would like to speak.
Right. No, my wife, she said basically what needed to be said, so.
Okay.
And if you want to, you can also add written.
Right,
Yeah,
yes.
you can write a letter, Ross, that would be great.
Okay. All
Write
right.
a letter supporting your position.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on.
You bet.
Okay. Any other public comment? Okay, next meeting will be
Tuesday,
May
May
6th,
Putting
26th.
it on because we can't forget it. And we gotta make
5:30
sure
PM at the courthouse.
Our friends are here. Uh-oh. Right, Matt?
Well, we'll have to,
Gilliam,
so when you send emails to Matt, you get nobody, he doesn't respond at all. I
don't know if he's responded.
He's been to a couple meetings.
Yeah, he has. I don't know if he's responded or not. Usually when I email you guys, I don't hear back from any of you, so
Well, if you want to respond, I can do that.
occasionally you'll give me a response, but
Just when you hit reply, don't reply all.
yeah.
Right. So, to filter through. Oh, awesome.
Okay, anything else?
Back to gavel.
Thanks for being here. We're
Yeah.
adjourned.
Okay, let me get this.
Hmm?